Good morning, all. Today we are going to discuss some networking topics. So, it is completely related to how to transmit the data from one system to another system. So, here explain briefly about TCP/IP model. So, there are different models which are used to transmit the data from one place to another place. So, here explain about TCP/IP model. So, in this reference model was developed prior to OSI model. We have one more model which is having OSI. So, here we have only 4 layers, right. So, in that OSI model we will have 8 layers. So, it was developed by OSI model. The major design goals of this model are as follows. 1. To connect multiple networks together so that they appear as a single network. To survive after partial subnet hardware failures, to provide a flexible architecture. So, these are the 3 major goals why we have to go with this TCP/IP model. First one is to connect multiple networks together so that they appear like a single network. So, we have to connect multiple networks, and here to provide a flexible architecture. So, unlike OSI reference model, TCP/IP model has only 4 layers. They are host to host network layer, internet layer, transport layer and application layer. So, first we will discuss about each and every one. Host to network layer. So, it is a TCP/IP reference model. It is equivalent to the combination of physical and data link layer of OSI model. So, in this reference model, it does not describe the functionality of this layer. However, it specifies that host must connect to a network using some protocol to send IP packets over it. The model does not define any specific protocol to be used. So, it varies from host to host and host network to network. So, here under this host to network layer, what it will tell is every host, in the sense every system who are sending the information, they must connect with a network to transmit the data from host to client. So, to which network it has to connect, it won't tell anything. Depends on their requirement or depends on their availability. Every host must connect to a specific network, so to transmit the data. So, that is going to be described under host to network layer. Once they have connected, then that functionality of this layer is to very similar to the network layer. The responsibility of this layer is to send IP packets from source in one network in one network independently to the destination, potentially in a different network. So, that the major duty of this internet layer is to transmit the data packets of IP packets from host to the source, in any network. The packets are routed independently, each taking a different path between source and destination. So, they may arrive at the receiver in a different order. The internet layer defines the format of these packets and a connectionless protocol called internet protocol. So, here through this internet layer, the data packets can be transmitted from host to the source, but they will take different ways. So, the order, whatever the order we have sent, there is no rule like they have to receive in the same order. They will be received, but that order may be different. Okay, so that is the internet layer. In the first one, host to network layer is nothing but every host should be linked with a specific network so that they can transmit the IP packets from host to source. And here, okay, so that is about internet layer. Okay, next, third one is transport layer. So, this transport layer allows peer entities on the source and destination to exchange the data with each other. The layer defines two end-to-end protocols, namely TCP, Transmission Control Protocol, and UDP, User Datagram Protocol. TCP is reliable connection oriented protocol, and it allows error-free transmission at the source end. It segments the incoming byte stream into discrete messages and passes them to the internet layer. At the receiving end, it groups the received messages into outstream. It handles flow control so that the fast sender doesn't overwhelm the slow receiver. Okay, here the transportation layer, the name itself it describes, it is used to transmit the data from host to source. So for this transmission they use two protocols, end-to-end protocols. They are TCP protocol and user datagram protocol. So first we are discussing about TCP protocol. It is a reliable connection from host to source, and what it will do is it will accept the data from the host and it will encrypt the data and it will post it in a protocol internet layer. Okay, at the receiver end, at the source end, what it will do is it will accept the packets, whatever they have received, and it groups the entire received message into output stream and it will give it to the receiver. So this TCP will be at both the sides, at host side and at the receiver side. So from host side it will receive the data from the host, and what it will do is it will transmit the data through a internet layer. So whatever the data which has received at receiving end at host side, it will accept the data and it will give it to the receiver. So this is the duty of this TCP protocol. Next, UDP is an unreliable connection. So TCP is reliable. Why? Because it is synchronized, so it is encrypted, but UDP it is not encrypted. It is, that's why we call it as unreliable connection protocol. Unlike TCP, it doesn't handle messages sequencing and flow control. It is widely used in applications where prompt delivery is more important than accurate data. So data to be delivered on time, but they won't care how much data has delivered. Okay, so now data delivery out of important anna scenario lo will go with UDP protocol. So there are two types of protocols, TCP protocol and UDP protocol. TCP is a reliable connection. We can rely on the data whatever we are transmitting from host to source. So the data completely will be received to the source. But UDP, here we will check the accurate data, but we won't check the accurate data, but we will check prompt delivery has happened or not on time. So that is about transportation layer. The name itself describes. This layer is used to transmit the data from host to source. Last one is application layer. It defines all the high level protocols include telnet, file transfer protocol, the simple mail transfer protocol and domain naming services. So it shows the initial protocols and networks defined in TCP IP model. So here we will have all the protocols, all the major level rules and regulations are included in this application layer. So the duty of this application layer is to transmit at appropriate formats. Okay, so FTP is used to transmit the files, telnet is used to transmit the audio files. So SMTP is mainly for mailing, and DNS is a domain network service, domain naming service, through which we can access the data. So we are discussing about this in detail in this question, FTP, HTTP and SMTP. So first we will discuss about FTP, file transfer protocol. So it is a standard protocol using to exchange files over internet. For example, when we are using any disk or what we have, we will have different things to share the screens or remote access of your data. So if you want to transfer the data or transfer the files from one location to another location, this FTP protocol will be used. Through this FTP only we can transmit the data, transmit the files through internet. So it runs on port 21, that is the client establishes a TCP connection on port 21 of the server machine. It has developed for the client server architecture wherein FTP server allows people located at remote locations over the internet to log in and download the required files loaded into the FTP server. So whatever the files which are loaded into FTP server, multiple people can log in into that server from different places, and they can access the data whatever we have stored in this FTP servers. So what are the basic objectives of FTP in the sense? The transfer of data is reliable, to allow sharing of files and other computer resources, to permit implicit or indirect usage of remote computers, and to protect the users from the variation in the storage file systems. So instead of storing the things into different locations, all the things will be stored at one place. From that place they can access the data. So that is the basic concept of file transfer protocol, how we can transmit the files from one location to another location through internet. Next, what are the drawbacks we have? FTP is not a secure protocol, it is susceptible to spoof attacks, brute force attacks or packet sniffing. So all these are the problems we can face in this FTP protocol, but it is not that much secure to transmit the data, transmit the files. Next one is HTTP. So what is the meaning of HTTP? Hypertext Transfer Protocol. If you want to transfer any text data, we use this kind of protocol. Okay, so it defines how clients and servers will communicate. Moreover, it even provides the structure of the communication. It generally follows the request and response paradigm. Whenever client sends a request and server acknowledge the response. So in this HTTP connection, the client establishes a connection with the web server. It will send a request to the server. So once the server will receive the request and it will give you the response, and once we receive the response, then the connection will be closed. So these are the stages what you have in this HTTP. This is HTTP request. Request, header line, black line, entity mode. So what is the message you are going, what is through which URL you are sending a request. So all these things will be in the example. So get servlet index JSP1 HTTP1, host cia.com, connection close, user agent is Mozilla 5.0, in the sense whatever the Firefox we use, accept language is US. So this is a simple example of a request what we have to send. So the first line of HTTP request message is called as the request, and subsequent lines are called header lines till a blank line. So the request line has 3 fields separated by a space. The method field, also called request type, indicates that action to be performed: get, post, delete or put. The URL field indicates the page to be accessed. The HTTP version field, it will tell you the version of HTTP. So ikkada once you see get, you are receiving, post in the sense you are sending, delete some operation if you want to delete. So whatever the action you want to perform, that will be the first place. Second is the URL which you want to access. You want to access this HTTP index.jsp, and this is the HTTP version. So whenever you want to type any URL in the browser, it will be in this format internally. Okay, so this here you have an explanation: get, post, head, put, delete options. Get, it receives the resource. Post, it transfers the data to a specific resource. Head, it is similar to get, but it forces the server to return only HTTP headers. Put, it uploads the resources to the server. It deletes the resources from the server. Options, it requests the server configuration options. So these are the things what you will have in this place: get or post or head, put, delete options. So this is about basic HTTP protocol, and it will be the response. Once we have sent a request, finally we will get a response message format. Status line, these are the header lines, and the black line and entity body. Data from the client, what will be there in the body, and it is a header line. What is text file, what is the length of the file, date, time and last modified. All the information about that file will be available in the header, and here it will tell you through which server we got this information, what is the content and what is the version of the protocol. So these are the 3 points whatever we have included in that. The first digit of the status code 1.1 200. Okay, so the first digit of the status code defines the class of the response the last two digit doesn't have any categorization. There are 5 values for the first digits. Minus gives information message, for example request received continued process 2xx. It gives success message. 3xs will indicate redirection, 4xs will indicate client error, 5xs will indicate server error. For example, if you want to access any website, if you get 401 error, that is a client server. If you get any 501 error, that is server side error. So 1 2 3 are nothing but 1 is for gives information message, 2 success message, 3 will be the response. If you have 401 or 501, 401 in the sense client error, 501 will be server error. So sometimes we can find 401 file not found error, page can't be displayed, page not found, all these things will be 401 in the sense client, 5 in the sense it is server errors. Next SMTP. SMTP in the sense mail transfer protocol. So the service starts by sending a line of a text giving its identity and telling whether or not it is to be prepared to receive mail. Okay, so it is completely deals with mails, how you can send a mail to one person to another person. So what complete mailing process will be informed with the help of this SMTP. So the server starts by sending a line of text giving its identity and tell whether or not it is prepared to receive mail. If it is not, the client releases the connection and try again later. If the server is willing to accept an email, the client announces from whom the email coming and to whom it has to go. So complete source and destination details of that particular mail is going to be maintained by this SMTP protocol. So here the client announces from the whom the email is coming and whom it is to going. If such recipient exists at the destination, the server gives the client the go ahead message, then the client sends the message and server acknowledges it. Checksums are generally not needed because TCP provides a reliable byte stream. For example, whatever the mail, if you want to send a mail to a person, you have to enter the proper mail ID. If the proper mail ID is available, then only we can send, or else we can't send. Obviously, we will receive a mail called mail delivery notice. Delivery failed notice will come to your mail. So that completely deals with mails, that is SMTP. Here we have one more, that is HTTP, Secure Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It is an extension of HTTP. So in HTTP we will send only hypertext transfer protocol, where there will have a request and it should be in the header format. That request will be in this entity and a message. So all these things will be in the header part. It is an extension of HTTP. It is a message oriented communication protocol that was designed to allow secure exchange of messages, but we can't provide much security in HTTP. That's why we have this SHTTP. Now for example, whenever we are typing any websites, sometimes we will see HTTP. See, for this, if I want to open this Hotstar, here you can observe this is HTTPS. Am I right? Whenever we see S in the sense, it is secured website. So they have purchased all the security measurements for that website. So this website is very secured. For some websites will have only HTTP. So we can say that website is not that much secured. So this is the difference what we can observe. Whenever we see HTTPS, it is secured. But whenever we see only HTTP, we will say that that is not that much secured. So this is that kind of stuff. Okay. So the next about this, what is SSL certification? Whenever you have purchased this SSL, security socket layer, then only we will get that yes, HTTPS. Until and unless if you have purchased this SSL for your website, it is not secured, and we can't say like this, using that website we can get n number of viruses and that can be hacked all the damages will happen if it is not SSL certified. If it is SSL certified, then only we will say that yes. So security socket layer is a protocol. It is developed by Netscape Communication to ensure the security of data transmission over the internet. So if you transfer any data through HTTPS, then that is secured. But if it is traveled through HTTP, it is not that much secured. So advantages, we can provide the integrity. It ensures that correctness of data being passed and confidentiality is there. So we can provide a perfect security to the data, and the data to be confidential. It shouldn't be revealed to outside. Authentication, by using this, only the data to be reached to that authenticated people. It won't go to any other unauthorized people. It will set a set of credentials like username and password. So the browser in the form of a server certificate. So this certificate is used to verify whether he is an authenticated person or not. So this is all about SSL. Okay, secure socket layer. So once you read the things, then it will be very easy for you people. So we'll wind up the class by this today, and tomorrow we'll see some other protocols, NNTP, and the basic classification of IP addresses. So how to classify the IP address, what is an IP address. Now by tomorrow you have to tell me if everyone are having net connections here, right? Even it is a mobile data or whatever it might be. So tomorrow you have to tell me the IP addresses of your mobiles, or if you are using any laptop or desktop, you have to tell me the IP address of your network. Complete IP address of your network, you have to find it out, and you have to tell me tomorrow. Okay. So